Today I'm going to show you some very basic looping tools in Unreal Engine 5. So I have this scene here with this coin that I made in ZBrush, and I want to have it float up and down and spin a bunch and loop it over 30 seconds. So I have the animation and I like the speed here. It's a little fast for most things I would do professionally, but the point of this tutorial is to get this to loop, and at 10 seconds or 240 frames, it stops. Now what I could theoretically do is just make sure that my first and last frame were the same thing, but I want to keep this speed. I could theoretically just take all of these keyframes here that I have created, hold Control and make a box around them and drag these out, and then multiply the values to fit the speed that I wanted, but that takes way too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control Z. I don't want to change the timing of these keyframes at all, which is why we're going to jump over to the sequencer curves here. We can see that I have this docked on my right side of my monitor. I'm going to move this over to the center. We can see that we have some linear keyframes animating throughout our animation. So first we have our spin 1 and spin 2 here, and they're just a single axis animating from a value of 0 to a value of 360. And that just is a full rotation. So what I want to do is I want to select the last keyframe, and then we can see here how these curves are evaluated before and after the keyframes. So if I set these values to a different property, right now it's just going to say, okay, we hit a value of 360 degrees, we're just going to stop animating. But if we set this to linear, we can see at the very beginning on the left angle or the left curve, it's now before frame 0 creating that animation. But I want it to happen after. So I can just go to this value here and set this to linear as well. So now if I undo that, hold right click and drag over, and I move my playhead, now just this one axis is animating continuously. So now we need to do that for the other one. So we can hold right click, drag over, find our end keyframe, go to the evaluation here and set this to linear. And now we can see we're going to get the constant spin at the desired playback speed of that 240 frame mark. But what about the oscillation? So if I go to this float keyframe here that I have, we can see that it's this bottom, up, and down. And if I go to this last keyframe right here and I set this to linear, it's just going to follow that curve because it's obeying the curve angle right here. I don't want that. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to select that last keyframe and we're going to set this to oscillate or ping pong. And now we can see that we have the same curve throughout the entire animation. So over this 720 frame animation, I had the speed that I had set at 240 frames, and now it's going to perfectly loop from frame 0 to frame 720. And the value of this is literally just these two buttons, being able to choose how the animation curve continues before and after the keyframes, and that is with these two buttons right here. You can play with the other types, but linear and oscillate are the two main ones that you probably end up using for a looping animation. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comment section down below, or if you have questions, comments, concerns, whatever else, comment section is down there for that as well. And I will leave you with the final tip, and that is to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and you'll make some. Goodbye, my friends. Bye.